Welcome, friends, gamers, and other enthusiasts to the BoydofZINJ channel. I hope you enjoy your time here and the video. Please like, subscribe, do all the bell icons, and comment. It really does help small content creators like myself and others by doing so. If you click on the notifications, it may even let others and the YouTube gods know that they may enjoy these videos. With that being said, let's play. Mechabellum. All right, I decided to enroll in the tournament. And if you're just a heads up, if you're not aware of this, I'm sure you are. I am, 50 plus years old, gentleman from Texas, and my reflexes are slowing, which is one of the reasons why I like games like this, the auto battlers. You know, I'm no longer an RTS person. I will never be able to play StarCraft competitively. Even when it first came out, I was too old. Regardless, I'm here to have fun. I will warn you, if you're not aware of this, I'm actually record this from the future. I took my headset off, recorded it, and I'm doing voiceover after the fact. Okay, let's look at the rules. Okay, multiple rounds will be played. Every round awards 1 point. Standard, to the winner. Standard situations. So every round awards 1 point to the winner and no points to the loser. Every round will match players with a smaller gap in points against each other. Once all players have completed this round, the next round will begin. When there is only one player with no losses, the champion is born and the tournament is over. From my understanding, if there's ever a situation where there's, let's say, an odd number, three people that have wins and no losses, one person takes a bye, two of them fight. The winner of those two fights, has zero losses, will fight the person who had a bye, and that's the way how it's going to be determined if there's ever an odd situation. I'm going to fast forward to the future, closer to the countdown of the match. With the power of editing, I'm now in the future. There's about 18 seconds left before the match begins. As a heads up, the first two, actually, I think three matches, I get very frustrated in real life. Again, this is one of those games where it's easy to understand, medium to figure out, hard to master. Okay, first person is Colonel Baloney. And of course, it's 0-0. I ready up. I should check his little asterisk. This person, again, this is foreknowledge. It was a runner-up to a previous tournament, so he's really good. Or this person's really good. I'm looking at the different options. Supply specialist is looking good. It's high number, steel balls, but then there's the giant specialist. I kind of like the giant specialist better because of the units. Then there's the quick supply specialist. I really like these units. Marksman, Mustangs. It's a winning combination, in my opinion. A winning combination. For, I look immediately. I have basically 90 seconds to get ready. So I take a quick look at the enemy's composition. I traditionally like to put my initial Mustangs, flanking my sides. That way, if I ever get flanked, the Mustangs should take care of anything but a concentrated attack. And Mustangs are fast, so if no one's attacking them, the Mustangs will be able to converge and, to meet the enemy relatively fast. Okay, so I'm debating. This person has a lot of good fodder and also tanks. I decided to go for additional fodder. I know this is risky. I do have marksmen. Marksmen aren't great against tanks, but they're pretty decent, in my opinion. I just need some type of fodder unit, some type of buffer to prevent the tanks from attacking the marksman. Likewise, if the marksman ever, if the enemy ever gets air, the fangs also can counteract, direct air. But I suspect this person may be doing something, cheeky breaky. This is a very good opponent. I have no doubt. And I give the enemy the good luck, have fun, commander speech. Okay, so lots of fodder, lots of crawlers, tanks, and marksmen of that person's own. The Mustangs are attacking the fodder, clearing it out pretty well. My fodders are pretty much dead. The middle marksman goes to the right, and now it's going to attack the tanks. The first match, it could be a toss-up. Win, lose, it's hard to say. Left side has crumbled. Unfortunately, my marksman decides to attack the tank instead of heading for the enemy marksman to the right. It's a loss. But again, the first matches, I expect losses. I typically like to skip. Subsidized crawler is really good though. Having cheap units, which I decide to use. I see this person doesn't have really strong flanks, so I'm debating about whether or not I want to counter with either my own tanks or crawlers. Even though I got the cheaper crawlers, I need something to combat tanks. And I decide fight firepower with firepower and bring out the tanks. Now, I know tanks are actually a little faster than Fang, so I want the Fang to take the brunt of the first attack and then the tanks to follow through. At least that's my goal. And I decided to go sideways. I know a lot of people like going long ways with tanks, but I like going sideways so that way the tanks will immediately attack one target and take it out fast. At least that's the goal. I also know people who are already voting on the winner, and I'm not their favorites. Again, this should have alerted me that this person was really high ranked, and as a result, it should have been a much harder match than I expected. Notice how all my tanks attacked that one single tank and took it out fast. But then the tanks go after fodder units, which is fine. Unfortunately, my marksmen are also going after fodder units. Left side is crumbling. My right side is terrible. So right now I'm behind the 8-ball. The tanks are counter to Fangs. Tanks on tanks are equal. The marksmen are weak against tanks. So as a result, the enemy has more tanks than I am. I need to do something different. I also know that this is going to be a long game. So I'm really thinking about getting that extra 50 credits, but I know that this could make a huge difference in at least one match. And I'll eventually get it back. So I go for the center. Since this is a possibility that I'm going to, if I can get it, the enemy can get it. So I'm debating what's really good against tanks, crawlers. Now that I have a decent amount of fodder units in front of my crawlers, I know I can have my artillery units be protected. The only thing I have to worry about is a very strong sideways attack, or a flank. But again, I have those Mustangs, so it's a good early cost. And again, I don't have to be perfectly, symmetrical. I need to counter the units that the enemy has deployed. But I see the enemy has deployed a fortress. An enemy fortress is a deadly foe. The enemy's fodder in the middle gets destroyed, which is good. I can concentrate on his main units. And sure enough, right side has prevailed. Left side struggling, but of course the left side is also facing the fortress. Luckily for me, I was able to take out the tower. Unluckily for me, and this is something I didn't think about, I had those napalm, and all my units, my fodder units, got destroyed with my own napalm. However, I destroyed the fortress. Both shields are up. This is a great victory for me, in my opinion. And keep in mind, I'm not talking about this means I'm going to win. Point wise, I'm still behind the 8 ball. It's close though. However, not my shield survived, so that means I'm saving money and not having to buy my shields again, and they're protecting my units. I'm debating, should I flank? Now I'm looking whether or not a flank's even feasible. I know that the fortress is on this side, so I need to alleviate, some of the forces on the left-hand side. And I decide to get storm crawlers in the middle and go for a third unit. And I'm thinking, what is going to be good against a fortress? I need firepower. And again, since I know that my units can take care of fodder, I'm going after... I want the marksman a little up to the north, or towards the enemy. So that way the marksman can take care of both either tanks or the fortress. Then we went for storm crawlers. One gets distracted by my own crawlers. Their shields go down. My shields are still up. This is a good situation. It's looking good. Oops, I just lost my shield on the right-hand side. Left-hand side shield looks like it's probably going to survive. Maybe not. But it looks relatively decent chance of me winning this round. I lose the shield on the left-hand side, but that was kind of expected. And then it just became just a few enemies. At this point of the match, I'm feeling confident. I do see that there's some enemy crawlers that are giving me some trouble. I'm still taking care of that artillery. And there's that single crawler. So it looks like I actually did lose. But it's a narrow. I'm talking about narrow. I'm debating about the advanced fire control system, speed specialist, or skipping. Barrier is also another one I'm debating about as well. All these are good, except I'm not going mass phoenixes. I decided to get this upgrade to... I'm not using Mustangs as a unit to kill other units. As a result, I need something to take care of the enemy's artillery units, missiles. And if the enemy goes into overlords, this will help out as well. I decided to get some crawlers for myself to give myself some extra fodder units, on the field. I need some extra units on the field. That way, the artillery units have more to shoot at, and hopefully we'll get since crawlers are fast, get inside the crawler units. Again, I'm putting up shields. I decided to go for an upgrade range. Going without shields this time. It's risky, sure, my units are going to take more damage, but I have these Mustangs to help me out. Now again, the Mustangs do provide some DPS for me. However, the primary job of the Mustang is to take care of the incoming artillery units, which until right now, that's what they were doing well, decent at. However, again, I'm just lacking something, and I lost. It's getting to the yellow. It's getting to the yellow zone. It's not the red zone, so I need to do something. I'm strongly suggest thinking about nuke. The electronic blast is much easier to pull off and will take care of their shields, which will really help me out. Since nuke was an option, I'm adding shields to my units. I figure if the enemy person plays the nuke, I need to protect my units. And even if they don't play the nuke, some extra protection might be helpful. But I'm missing something. I'm lacking something. I need to do something to even the odds. I can unlock melting points, but I decided to go air. In retrospect, and this, again, I'm doing the voiceover after the fact. I think this is a poor choice. I should have done something different. I think I should have gone Overlords or Melting Point at this point. These Phoenix units are not enough. I burned the Midnight Oil, get some extra credits, which means next round I'm going to have less. I decided to try and, again, I'm looking to even the odds. And I want these crawler units to run in the field, distract the enemy, and then hit this person's flank. I noticed that this person has a weak flank on the right-hand side. Again, there's artillery. Notice I get rid of shields. But if you look closely, I miscalculated. And again, this might be one of the reasons why I lost. My shields were in the front, were too far behind to protect my unit, so I lose a vast majority to the nuke. My right-hand side seems to be doing well, but my left side completely crumbles because of nuke. Again, I need to do something to fix this because now I'm definitely in the red zone. All of these could be really useful. I don't have any giant units, so the enhanced module is not out of the question. Improved fire control is cheap. Senior defense specialist is very useful. This might make the difference between needing 1 hit or 2 hits to kill a unit. I go for it. But remember, I'm behind the 8-ball. My napalm has recycled. I know that person has shields, but I'm doing it in front of that person. The crawlers didn't do a great job, but they were sufficient in distracting. And I didn't want to move it towards the fire because I know the fire is going to kill them. So I decided to use them as distraction. I get a melting point upgraded. Again, I'm burning the midnight oil, so I'm going to be down 300 credits next round. Were these shields even worth it? Maybe I should have purchased a different unit. Maybe I should have got an upgrade that would have made a difference. In retrospect, there's other things I could have done. So the napalm's doing its job in killing out the shaft. However, now the enemy has air units. My melting point to the left has fallen. The fortress is a beast. And because of the fortress still surviving, it's causing me to have trouble. This looks like this is the end. I'm going for... That was a fortunate kill. I do notice that I don't think this person has any... Only has some fangs to shoot up. Or actually, wasps in this case. But... I survived one more fight. I go for an Ion Blast. I know the left-hand side fortress is too tough. The Iron Blast would just the fortress would just shrug it off. I'm trying to kill damage, primarily his barrier, do some damage to the fortress. I don't expect it to die, but kill off his artillery and his other units. That's the primary purpose of the Iron Blast. I looked at the battle. I mispositioned the melting point. The melting point's not in a good position, so I decided to use the mobile beacon and manually move the melting point. This way, the melting point can still hit some early fodder units, but move into a better position where hopefully will kill the fortress. I suspect this is going to be my last battle. If I lose, unless it's, somehow by one unit, this is it. The enemy provides Ion Blast, and sadly my melting point is at like 10% health. Survives, and luckily I moved my melting point behind my fodder units. The melting point does have the ability to move and fire as long as the target remains in range. However, it doesn't survive. The enemy gets their own melting point, and that's enough. The fortress is too much of a beast. Has shields, has the strength. Everything's not going my way. This is pretty much it. My left completely faltered. My right survived. One. That's good, but my left, nothing I could do. I believe this is going to be my last round for this match. And sure enough, I'm dead. In retrospect, there's many different things I should have done differently that might have made a difference. And I know this. And I get a little frustrated. This is where my back in time person realizes that the person I was facing was someone of high caliber who was a runner-up in a previous tournament. So I should have known that this person was super good and not feel as bad. But I still felt bad that I lost this match. I felt that I could have won this match. I saw the opportunities. There's no way I'm going to win the tournament, but I'm still going to play. This is a game I still like playing the game. At the time, I was getting a little frustrated because I felt that I was losing too much. Again, it's one of those games where it's easy to understand, not too hard to figure out, but can be, terrible, hard to master. And I'm wishing to myself, like, what's going on? How come I'm not winning? All right, I'm going fast forward, so that way you don't have to, just hear me rant about stuff to the next round. With the power of editing, it's now closer to round 2. Now, the person I'm looking at, and says, okay, interesting. Seems to be a nice fella. I actually, this is foreknowledge. Fight him again in the same tournament. Very nice gentleman, or person, I should say. I don't know if it's a gentleman or not. Now, I'm debating what card I want to use. Speed Specialist has high points. The units are decent. But what is Speed doing for me? So I'm thinking Heavy Armor. But I'm also thinking Giant Specialist because I do like the Mustangs. But I do like the units in the Speed Specialist. So I decided to go with Speed. I figure this will give me enough buffer. If I make a mistake, I can recover as well. But I really like the units for the speed. Now, what's interesting about these units, and this is what I'm talking about, is both these units are good at killing ground-based fodder. Likewise, they're both travel at the same speed. Even though I'm a speed specialist, they're traveling a little faster than normal. But both of these are traveling at the same speed, regardless of if I'm a speed specialist or not. Now, tanks are a wee bit tankier, hence, they're tanks. They have more overall hit points because there are more units. So I want them to take the brunt of damage first. So you'll notice I will position the tanks half a square, whatever it's called, above and forward than the arc lights. Now, since I have lots of good clear, I'm thinking to myself, if this person has either air or some type of tough unit, I need to deal with it. Marksmen are good early, anti-air, like steel balls unit. Not the best, but I like them, at least early on. And depending on the situation, they're cheap. They can make a difference against giant units as well. I lose an early arc like in the middle, but I clear off all the fodder. I overwhelm this person, which is good. An early victory is always a good thing. Now I'm ahead of points. I noticed that this person has a lot of units, vulnerable units in the middle. So I decided to get this missile specialty to take out the units. Secure myself an extra win. I get a single Mustang. Again, I like getting Mustangs to flank my sides to guard against enemy flanks. But I only have enough for one. So I decide to flank my left-hand side, hope my right side doesn't get hit. I buy an extra marksman, put it in the middle to cover the arc lights in the middle, and to guard against the enemy flanks on my right-hand side, put a missile. The enemy also grabbed a sentry missile and the other missile. This match, I'm behind the 8-ball. I've just lost a lot of hit points on one of the tank units and the tanks on the left-hand side. In fact, my tanks on the right-hand side have already failed because they lost that many hit points. Luckily, those Mustangs, defeat the stuff on the left. Notice the enemy has artillery units. My marksman secures the victory. It's a minor victory, but again, better to take a few less points than not. Amplified core is good. Subsize arc light is great as well. Skipping was an option. I purchased the other Mustangs just in case, and I noticed that they really did help. And sometimes I use Mustangs as anti-artillery and get the upgrade because I don't always use marksmen as DPS units. Since this person has units on the far flanking side, I decide to get artillery. An arc light on the flank. I'm putting shields since this person has shown that they like to use sentries, and of course now there's artillery on the field. I decided to get an extra arc light and put it on the right hand flank. The middle looks good, the left looks good, the right looks good. I'm thinking to myself, maybe I should have brought the shields a little bit forward, but other than that, it's looking good. I lose the shield on the right hand side, but my left side shield looks good. Sadly, I lost. But again, I'm ahead in points. There was a super loss. Supply specialist, range specialist. I decided to go range. In retrospect, maybe the extra supplies would have been better. However, I'm thinking to myself that I need range. That this is going to be a range battle. If my artillery units can fire before the enemy's artillery units, I can have the advantage. Of course, if that person gets the same upgrade, be nullified. But again, I don't want to be in a situation where the enemy artillery is firing before I can fire. Giants. And here's the problem about not picking up extra money. This person has giants already. Fortress. On both sides. I was already having trouble winning. Now I have to face Fortress. Now it's just up to the marksman, and of course, unsupported marksmen are terrible. At least I got the Fortress to the left, so I'm taking less damage. I'm ahead of points, but after this loss, I'm now behind in points. Incendiary Blast is very useful. I have nothing for skill specialist right now. I could skip. I was even debating about the Vulcan. I'm looking at the field, deciding there's no immediate rush. You don't have to rush. I decided to go for Incendiary. And the main reason why is I suspect this person is probably going to get buried. So I don't want to put it on the Fortress. I'm putting it in areas that I think that if the person gets barriers, it won't cover. The left-hand side is actually positioned. This person did not have a perfect symmetrical formation, and the left-hand side I saw would not be protected if the fortress gets a barrier. And it's highly unlikely the person will put the shield that far back. That's why I put the shield on the left side. I purchased Mustangs. I'm debating what do I need to even this out. I can still get a new unit. Do I get upgrades? Do I get level 2 units? I decided to go for Marksman. And while Marksman isn't a great DPS, they have great range, single target DPS. And my biggest concern right now is the Fortress. In retrospect, maybe I should have got a different unit. In retrospect, maybe I should have got shields and protected myself against this fire. Okay, I took care of the left-hand side. But the right-hand side is still an issue. I cost them an extra 50 credits money by getting that marksman to be killed by a sentry. Nuke, lightning storm, laser sights, all good choices. I was even debating the mass-produced fortress, but the bad thing is it takes too much. I figure nukes are hard to utilize sometimes. However, this will dampen their shields, and this will give me an advantage. The other thing I had to remember is this person can also pick up nukes. I need to protect my units against nukes. And I decide my right-hand side is my weaker side, so I need to reinforce my right side, either with the shield or more units. And I'm looking at upgrades. I'm thinking about maybe I could put upgrades to my tanks. I'm even thinking, what units I could get. This person does not have air. In retrospect, I think this was a terrible idea. I should have waited one more turn and gone heavy into air. Only having these few units in air and doing nothing beyond this, I believe, cost me the ultimate victory. I put the watch very far back. The left-hand fortress survived a little longer with the shield, but being overwhelmed by the wasp. The right-hand fortress just fell. This is looking good. The bad thing about wasps is they're easily countered by mustangs. I decided to get parasitic ammo. I was thinking about the orbital javelin, but the orbital javelin is no longer could kill in big units. And the reason I decided parasitic ammo is I need to cause these units to look back and get delayed and fire at enemies. I also get the range increase to my artillery. I do a bunch of upgrades. I've decided, is shields worth it, or do I want extra units? I get extra units of wasp, and I decided to put the wasp in the middle to help out both sides. The match ends before I could finish doing stuff. Because I had so many units clustered in the middle, took out the middle. Good choice for the enemy. Now, this is why going wasp is terrible. Look, this person countered my wasp completely with a few Mustang units. And now I'm behind the 8-ball again. The left-hand side destroyed the fortress, but look at all these Mustangs. If I would have gone Overlords, these Mustangs wouldn't be as deadly. If I would have done something else, it wouldn't be just deadly. I'm now severely behind the 8-ball. I know if I don't change something up now, I'm completely dead. I forgot to use this last time. So again, I'm going to hit units that aren't protected under bubble so I can destroy some units at least. I give marksman range. And I decided, well, I need to hope that these multi-points can lock onto the enemy fortress and kill them. Do I want shields? Do I want upgrades? I decide to upgrade. I know my left-hand side's been having some trouble. I decided to put the extra attack on the left-hand most melting point. I put shields on my sides. And I'm looking, what else could I do? Do I want an extra shield? Do I want an upgrade? Is it really worth wasting money to upgrade this unit? I only have 150 credits. Maybe I can grab an extra unit and hope that extra unit does something. So I decided to update. I only have 50 credits left. And I throw a missile out there. My melting points took down their shield, but their fodder is, there's so much fodder, left hand melting points impotent. My melting point to the right was impotent. This looks like it's a loss, and there's so few points, I'm not going to win. Sure enough, this is lost. At this point in real life, I was angry. I was frustrated. I made lots of wrong decisions that I should have made different. What could I have done better? What should I have done? I think those wasps, while it helped me win one match, one round, it cost me the game. I should have played a different unit or played them at a different time. And again, it frustrated me. And right here, I'm about ready to hit my monitor. Not really, but I felt like it. But again, you know, live and learn. I'm going to advance the time to the next round. We still have over 2 minutes. But again, in real life, I was very frustrated. I was about ready to call it quits at this point. And I'm glad I wasn't recording myself, because I think I was frustrated. Again, I was frustrated in real life. All right, see you in a few. Okay, I fast forward to round 3. Round 2 was still in progress. What was this round 3? Dr. Fumbles. It says round 2, but I could have swore I already fought 2 other rounds, so wouldn't this be round 3? Now, in real life, I was feeling frustrated. I was a little upset. I'm looking at the cards. Well, how do I play this? I like the giant specialist units. However, heavy armor specialist looks good too. Of course, cost control units are decent. Supply specialist is too low on points. So now I'm debating between 3 different cards. I decide I've been losing doing it a certain way. So I decide to take the units I want. And I want to win with economy. I need extra money. That's what I'm thinking about winning. So I decided to go with the better economy. Now, balls and crawlers have the same speed. Now, I know a lot of people like having balls vertical. However, I decided to go horizontal. I want the balls hitting the same target, or even multiple targets at the same time. And I don't want the crawlers so close that a single missile will destroy everything. And I've been thinking about the crawlers vertical or horizontal. I decided to go horizontal. I'm debating about marksman. And again, I have lots of fodder units. As a result, the marksman should be protected at least for the next round or 2. Then I noticed what the enemy types, and I take it as an insult. And again, at this point of the game, in real life, I was very frustrated at the game. So I was angry. It's like this person was insulting me. Doesn't know me, doesn't know the situations. It could have been real close games, and I just lost. And this person, you know, has the gall to make assumptions. Now, of course, that doesn't. I can't. You know, my anger can't. You know, change the outcome of stuff I already placed out. So, what have you? And if you notice, I still gave this person a GLHF, but I acknowledge that this person, I basically said I wasn't sure if this person was insulting me or not, but I'm still going to give you good luck, have fun. I lose. Because I picked someone with such low points, I'm over 1,000 under. So I'm losing. I've been skipping lots of the second round for money, and I decided to get Mustangs. Now I'll pick something for the second round if it's either cheap or super useful. And again, I like using Mustangs as a flank deterrent. I have a feeling that this person is going to think I'm beneath them, and they're going to do whatever they can to secure a victory. Which, in retrospect, they should. So I'm thinking that this person is going to flank, which is why I decided to get Mustangs now. Oh, no flanks. I'm surprised. Now, Mustangs are decent DPS for, especially against crawlers. And luckily, the arc lights are in the middle. My Mustangs are on the side. Arc lights are actually a decent counter against Mustangs. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking anti-interference modules. Nano repair kits is also a real useful one, but I have a feeling that this person is going to, think I'm so far below me. They're going to use some tricky hacker technique. Hackers have been in the meta lately, so I decided to get the unit. But of course, I don't see any hackers yet. Why put them out? I'll save until the hackers come out. Now, what units do I need to secure victory? This person has a lot of fodder, and I can get either a free unit or more expensive units. I'm debating, well, maybe I should get air. So I decided to get wasps. I want the person to want to fire up as well. And I decided to flank. And I go all in on my flank. And I get the ability where the wasp can change positions after the fact. Because I know next round, that person is just probably going to get Mustangs and clear me out. I'm thinking about overwhelming this person's flank with units. Or overwhelming the side. I decided to put the on the side. So now this person has to deal with ground and air as a flank. Oh! This person grabbed a giant unit. Luckily for me, his supporting units are dealing with the flank, leaving the giant unsupported. You'll remember previously I said a giant unit can be very powerful, but unsupported, they're very weak as well. And because of that, and I didn't know the positioning or what was going to happen, but because of that, he lost his giant unit. I'm not going Rhino. I decided to grab fire. And I decided to do something cheeky. I suspect that this person is going to have Mustangs here. So I'm going to... Mustangs are ground units. I want to burn them. And what's the chances of this person protecting the ground? And my wasps are air units. Even better. I may lose my crawlers, but the crawlers are not the important units over there. So I have 250 credits. I grab fangs. Do I need more fodder? Nope. I decided to go for extra DPS. Now, grabbing fangs is still useful. It was free. If I was going grabbing the other units, unlock, you can only unlock one unit at, per turn, per round. This person actually puts a shield on the right hand side. I wasn't expecting a barrier. I do notice that on my left hand side, there's a lot of fodder units, and I'm not able to clear out the fodder units fast enough. That barrier was enough to kill out my wasps. Luckily for me, even though the barrier protected against lots of the fire, as they left the barrier, the fodder units died to the fire. So it was still useful after the fact. I lose though. I'm now behind the 8 ball. I need to do something. I'm thinking overall bombardment. And I know I need to take care of that side. It has that fortress. But I decided to go left. I figure worst case scenario, the person get a barrier and I won't be able to kill units. So I'll go left, hope that I don't have to worry about killing as many units to the left hand side. Now I need to do something with the right. I decide stormcrawlers. I decide to instantly get the upgrade, the electric magnetic upgrade. This does two things. If that unit has special abilities, it'll nullify them, but likewise, it'll slow them down. A unit such as a fortress has one disadvantage. They're slow. So even if there's no upgrades that I'm worried about, I can slow them down. That way, I can rain more missiles on them. Okay, so the right hand side is doing well. The person grabbed the fortress to the left. The left side's faltering. However, all my artillery units survived. Will it be enough to secure a complete victory? My units are going forward. I still have marksmen as well. This is a terrible time. Now, even though my units have decreased damage, the unit is being hit with the electric shock. As a result, they're still being slow. And my units recover from the damage penalty and are also hitting units behind it, which were also fodder units. Slowing down the fortress made it for me to be able to kill it. Tank production is good if I had a ground-based or some type of giant unit, but I don't have giant units. I decided to go photon to protect my units, to give them an extra ounce of protection to hopefully make them survive. And I'm doubling down with steel ball techniques. I'm giving the ability where they'll recover hit points and have extra hit points and purchase steel balls and align them in such a way that steel balls will go after the fortress. Now, I notice here that this person, for protect against the flanks, has put barriers on both sides. That's wasted money. This person was so confident that I was so inept that this person was wasting credits on useless defenses that even if I would win, I'll probably never take down. Why? And this person didn't feel that I was worthy of, being efficient, and was playing me probably below their optimal situations. All right, Fortress got the barrier. I still have crawlers on the right hand side. I don't care about them. Now again, my crawlers are hitting and causing them to lose powers. The fortress has robot punch, which can be a very powerful ability. However, because they're being nullified, it's not an ability that the fortress can use. The left-hand side seems to have won. The right-hand side is slowing down the fortress to such a degree that it might be a victory, but fortress is tough. I secure the win. However, it's still a close game. I need to do something. I go for a parasitic ammo, and I decide to put it on an artillery unit. I want the artillery unit to reach out, kill something at far range, and then have the enemies turn around or turn to the side and deal with it. Turning, especially for giant units, slows them down. I decide to grab some Mustangs as well. And I decide melting point. And I want the melting point to be protected. I've noticed that in the last few matches, the last thing that's left was the fortress. And the primary responsibility of the melting point is not the fodder units, is to get the fortress. So I want it in the back. Sure, it can help out with some fodder units here and there, but it wants to survive until the end. So I put it behind a bunch of units. And I don't want to burn the midnight oil and get another going debt to get another melting point, because I know that this is going to be a long game. I'm also debating about whether or not I want to sell off and get those crawlers off. Go. Left hand side is looking good. Right hand side is looking very good. My melting point did hit the fortress for a bit, but died. Now notice how the fortress is turning to the left. On the right hand side, it's turning to the left and to the right. And I don't think this person realized that what was happening. Because the parasitic ammo, I'm occasionally killing additional units and causing the fortress to go left and go to right. However, my left side did not secure the victory. And because of that, I have fortress hitting me on my left side. I take out the right side fortress, so the right side is doing well. This looks like it's going to be a loss. And I'm already behind the 8 ball, so this is... Actually, I was above. This actually pretty much evens it out. But I'm thinking to myself, I'm now slightly under. I need to do something. Barriers is a useful one. Now I have shields without worrying to purchase it every single time. I know this person has barrier, and I don't suspect they're going to purchase shields. So that's the reason why I put the napalm ahead of the barrier. Maybe I'll lose like 5-10% of the the napalm. That's fine. As the unit walks, goes for it. I still have that unit, that item to prevent a hacker from taking something over, but no hackers. I get increased damage upgrade. I was thinking about getting an upgrade, but no, I decided to get an extra melting point. And I still have the money, so I guess the range. Keep it single point. Because again, by the end game, I'm really concerned about the fortress. Fodder units doesn't seem to be an issue. This person also got a melting point, and worse yet, got oil in the middle. So all my units in the middle are going to be slowed. And I'm thinking to myself, am I going to be facing fire? Okay, the melting point to the left has locked onto the fortress. Destroys the fortress. Good. Melting point to the right has locked onto the fortress. Has just about destroyed the fortress. The melting point has locked onto my melting point, which is bad. Luckily for me, the melting point in the middle got attacked by my right-hand artillery. I noticed here that other people are betting against me, and now I'm actually getting some support. A lot of people were betting against me. This is making me feel better. Again, I was a little frustrated. I was a little angry, and I think this person made me feel terrible at a time when I didn't want to be insulted. But there's nothing I could do other than just fight. I decided to do something tricky. It says, okay, you want to slow down my units? Let me slow down your units. And since my units really get that far up, it shouldn't affect me very much. I grab Overlord. 2 of them. Again, this person doesn't have very much anti-air. I also grab the shield and the armor. This will negate a ton of damage. An Overlord will still die against level 1 Mustangs and Wasps, but it'll take a lot less. It'll take a lot less damage. I put a barrier on the left-hand side, a shield, because I know the right-hand side has a natural barrier, and the left does not. And I'm thinking, where do I want to put this missile? And I said, put it off to the side. My Overlord to the middle right gets taken out by the melting point. The melting point to the right has locked onto the fortress. Look how beefy that fortress is. My left-hand melting point is having trouble. Both melting points are locking onto the melting point in the middle. This is a victory. And it's a true victory. Notice the comments I'm putting. Again, at the time, I took his initial comments as insulting. But I did notice that this person gave me a grateful GG. So, and I was thinking to myself, I better be a gentleman and respond back nicely. Because I was thinking to myself, I might have misunderstood their comments, taking it as an insult when in reality it was just a sideways comment. Which is why I acknowledged his name in general chat. All right, I advance to the next round. I'll see you then. In my haste, I forgot that the tournament's over. Of course, obviously I lost. Congrats to those who won.